Hi, this is Lainey Cameron. Today I am here with Kathleen West. Hey, Kathleen.
Hi, Lainey. So nice to see you.
And let me tell you a little bit about Kathleen's latest novel, Are We There Yet? It's set in junior high, right? Junior high? I always
Yes.
get the high schools wrong. And it is fabulous. I read it. It's got all the intrigue. It's all about the kids being on the internet, and you've got the parent intrigue. And some of the reviews are saying if you liked Kathleen's debut, you'll love her second. What a roller coaster ride of a book. I thought that was a lovely little summary because I loved this. And I can't believe I still haven't read Minor Dramas and Other Catastrophes, your debut from last year, which everybody raved about. It's been on my Kindle since the day it came out. So I will get there eventually, I promise.
Someday it will be the right time and you'll be like, oh, yeah, there it is. So,
Yeah, and that book, I mean, last year you got such great acclaim. Best book pick by Real Simple, Newsweek, People Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, and the New York Post. Wow.
yeah, it was really fun and exciting. And the last thing that really happened before the shutdown. So, yeah, February 2nd turned out to be great timing for that book to come out. And I can't believe how different everything is now.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Well, today, first off, if anyone hasn't read the first one like me, and you're slap yourself because it's getting such amazing reviews and everybody loved it, and I will get to it. But I did read your second book and I loved it.
I'm so
It is
happy.
so fun.
I'm so happy to hear that. Like I worried about the second one because the first one I plugged away at for over years at a time, and it was just a hobby of mine. You know how this goes. And then the second one, there were expectations, and I felt some pressure, and I had to finish it within a year, which was a new experience.
Yeah, and that's hard. I've heard it's really hard to be on deadline for one book while you're bringing out the next. And I think you're going through it again now, right? On your third one?
Yes, I was telling you before we started recording that part of this is my own fault. That my third book is due on Monday, and we're talking a little bit, before this comes out. But my second book launches on Tuesday. My new one is due on Monday, and it's just because life got busy, and this is how everything kind of mashed up.
That's hard. That's the thing about publishing contracts with a big publisher is like they're coming book after book after book. So let's talk about this one, which people can go buy now because it came out this week. So Are We There Yet? Give me your little spiel. Tell me about the book.
Okay, Are We There Yet is about a mom, Alice Sullivan, who feels like she's kind of got everything together. She doesn't have little kids anymore. She's able to focus on her career, and she's kind of cruising along as an architect, interior designer, until she goes to second grade conferences and discovers that her daughter is woefully behind in reading, maybe like 8 levels. And while she's at that conference, she gets a call from the middle school principal, the junior high principal, where her son Teddy is in 7th grade. And he has engaged in some bullying type behavior that really changes her relationships and interactions with her friends in the community. So it's kind of about reputation and impulsivity and forgiveness and secrets.
That's a great description. You nailed it. That was my experience of reading the book, and you got all the intrigue. Like I really felt like I was back as a junior high parent. I remember being there and all the kind of the snarkiness of the PTA meeting kind of thing. Yeah, you captured it so well. So let's take a peek at one review, and then I want to hear about your inspiration and where the idea came from. And this is a review by Pamela Klingerhorn, who is a bookseller who is so well known for giving fabulous reviews and very critical reviews. So when she loves your book, it's a big deal. And I love how she compared you to being the new American Leanne Moriarty, which is quite something to have said about yourself. And I love this little phrase. She says, anyone who has raised children in comfortable suburbia will recognize these characters and laugh or cringe as you recognize yourself. Gossip, social mayhem, and jealousy are neatly wrapped up in smart prose, and Kathleen West combines an astute look at middle-class parenting with laugh-out-loud fun. This is an all-around winner. Wow, what a blurb to get for the book.
I know, I was so honored by that, especially as you mentioned, because Pamela is such a good reader. And she was one of the first readers of both Minor Dramas and this book, so I'm hugely grateful to her.
Oh, that's great. So where did the idea for this one come from? Tell us more.
In the beginning, I really thought I would like to write an adoption story. I was adopted at birth and then reunited with my birth parents as a teenager. And adoption does play a role in this book. Alice, the main character, is adopted, and she discovers that her mother is both an adoptive mother of her and a birth mother of someone else. So that plays a role. But as I started writing the story, I got really interested again in the teenage characters. I've taught school for a long, long time, and I love teenagers. So I got distracted by Teddy and his friend Sadie, and the story kind of became about their families instead of just about the adoption.
And how much did it change over editing? I mean, you would have been like having to turn this one in when your debut was coming out around like the same time. So like, what was that like and how much changed? What might readers not guess that was different in the original version?
Well, one of my favorite things that we added in the revision was that my editor asked me for a little bit of a mystery or a little bit of intrigue or something that kind of kept readers turning the pages. And so in the book, there's this loose graffitier, who keeps making kind of lewd pictures on park buildings and signs around town. And that was all added on one of our revisions, a really fun thing to add. But the book was completely rewritten during the revision process. I cut a whole main character and it really changed scope. So I always say it seems to take me about like 250,000 words that I write to get to the 90,000 words that the book is. So heavily, wow. Yeah.
And with the book coming out, have you had any time to read yourself recently?
Yes, I love reading. I try to read an average of a book a week. Most recently, I finished this book. It's called Ahmed Aziz's Epic Year. It's a middle grade novel by another Minnesota writer. I'm from Minnesota, Nina Hamza. It's delightful. It has a 7th grade main character, and he's dealing with all kinds of problems. His family moves from Hawaii to Minnesota, and also his dad is really sick. They've moved to Minnesota because the medical treatment that he needs is available here. And then I also read this, which everyone has read, and I know KJ has been on your podcast before. It's The Chicken Sisters. And what I love about this book is that, KJ delivers on the premise, which is about this reality television series and this kind of like fun, fast pop culture drama, but also you get this really deep and emotional sister story. So I love like the 2-in-1 that KJ delivered in that book.
And I'm excited that I'm going to be interviewing KJ again, actually soon on Blue Sky Book Chat Facebook group. She's coming on to, I think we're both going to get on and eat fried chicken together and talk about her book. And I love that one too. Great choice. Yeah. So what about writing advice? Any advice for those who want to be Kathleen West? I mean, with the second book coming out, the first one that did so phenomenally well.
Well, I was just thinking about this, and I think the best advice is just to focus on the things you can control. And as a writer, either pre-published writer or published, really the only thing you can control is putting words on the page. So just give yourself the time to write the story that you want to write. Try to keep your eyes off of everyone else. Don't compare yourself to other people, how fast they're reaching their goals or how successful it appears their books are. Just really kind of keep your own eyes on your own paper and write your story. I think that's
a very teacher phrase there. Keep your eyes on your own paper. But it's true. I just read a blog post this week by another author who's about to be published. She's going to be a 21 debut, and it was about self-comparison. And yeah, it can be disheartening when you start comparing yourself. And the thing is, you only compare yourself to the people doing better, right? You only compare yourself to like the person who's the bestseller or the person with the bigger deal or the bigger contract or the People magazine or whatever it is that week. And it doesn't give you a valid perspective because you're not looking at everything, and it's just not helpful. I think that's brilliant advice.
It's not helpful. And the other thing I would say is be nice. The publishing world is really small. So I think that, being kind and cultivating relationships is the other really important thing to do.
That's great. Great advice. And anything I haven't asked you before we look at how people can connect with you?
Well, I'm a pretty open book. Yeah.
The title. I haven't asked you about the title. So I want to know, because I read it and now I'm really intrigued on the whole premise behind the title of Are We There Yet? I mean, obviously the sitting in the car road trip, Are We There Yet? But like, why this title for this book? Tell us some more.
Yes. Well, I'm pretty terrible at coming up with titles in general. It was my editor's idea to go with like a childhood game. That was the prompt that she gave me. And we came up with like red light, green light as an option. But we thought that had a little bit of a Me Too feel to it, which we didn't want for this book. And Are We There Yet is something that I thought of after she gave me that prompt. And I really liked it because the book is about, parenting and dealing with kids in a difficult time. And I think, if you've been driving your minivan and your kid is in the back, like screaming, Are we there yet? You understand the feeling behind that. But also the people in the book are really going through self-development and change. And the answer to Are We There Yet is no. You know, by the end of the book, they're just on their way. And I like that feeling of kind of being unfinished.
That's awesome. Yeah, because they're going through this journey of being helicopter parents and learning to let go and like finding that balance of when you can and can't get into your kids' lives. And oh yeah, I like that. That actually really clever. And you know, I think readers might be surprised to know that titles change till very late in the process of bringing out a book. It's actually kind of the last thing, right? Along with the cover. It's really surprising that it can change all the way up to the last minute.
It can change all the way, even until like the book is all done and then your editor presents it to the sales team. And if the sales staff doesn't like the title or the cover at that late stage, it can still change. So that's another thing I can't control. So I let it go.
Well, no, it's great. I love your explanation of it as well. And it's a fabulous book. And if folks want to find it and they want to find you online, on Instagram, you are at Kathleen West Writes and at KathleenWestBooks.com. And folks can find all the other ways to connect with you there.
Yep, that's right.
And give the book a try, folks, because it's really funny and enjoyable, and it's just got all that like little gossipy intrigue to it. I loved it. It was a really fun read. So well done.
Well, thank you so much, Lainey, and thanks for having me on this podcast. It's one of my favorite listens, and I really like the short episode length because it fits right into kind of any commute. So congratulations on all the success.
Mom length. It's good mom length. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining me, and bye.
Bye. Thank you.